What's up, people? I know it's a usually late video, but just did stuff today. But um, I am doing. We're kind of continuing the trend of Jet Li reviews. Today, I decided to review and rewatch Jet Li's Fearless. This movie came out in 2006, and I remember watching it. I didn't see it in theaters, but I saw it like a few years later, and I remember really liking it, but I hadn't watched it in years. So my plan this week is to do this video today. Tomorrow, I'm going to do my updated Halloween franchise ranking. Um, and I'll probably try to get that out pretty early tomorrow. But that'll be tomorrow. This movie, rewatching it, it's so good, man. It's about a man named. It's actually directed by Ronnie Yu, who you might know from he did Freddy versus Jason, which is pretty interesting. He did Bride of Chucky, so doing those two movies and then doing this is such a night and day difference with this movie. Like, it's so crazy that he can do something like whatever you think of Freddy versus Jason, something like that, and Bride of Chucky to doing this. But yeah, he's done films in Hong Kong and stuff, so he did this film in 2006 and Jet Li in it. And keep in mind, Jet Li, even by this point, was already mostly known as an American, not an American actor, but like doing American movies by this point. So it's crazy to think he went back to doing a movie in mostly China, and then there are parts of it that's in other parts of the world. It's loosely based off of I'm just gonna say Who, because I can't pronounce it. Who, about a martial artist who challenged foreign fighters. So basically, they took that concept, and you see his whole life. This movie, and I actually think there was a good period piece too. A lot of it was in subtitles, which is fine for me, because honestly, it works better that way. And I think Jet Li's performance in this is really, even though you don't understand the words he's saying, just seeing his performance, like the big scene, I didn't even know this, I'm going to go into this a bit later. The scene where he finds his daughter's body was so good. And basically the fighting is so fucking good. Like, there's so many great action scenes. Just even like the little action scenes where he's taking on, just regular guys is so good. And it's about him learning wushu martial arts. The way they open, it's pretty interesting. They have him. So I guess we could get started now because I'm getting close to talking about the opening of the film. But yeah, this film is really good. Definitely would recommend. One of Jet Li's best. If we're going performance-wise, and of course we're talking like some of his stunts in this is really good. But I'm talking about like just like actual performance-wise is his best. So here we go. So, the film opens up with the film opens up with Who fighting three Westerners. One with boxing, so he fought this big dude, which is really good. Beats him. Then he fought a Lancer, which that was probably one of my favorite fights from this opening sequence. Then the sword one. They were so good at just showcasing how good Jet Li was. Such a good way to open the movie, get some opening action. Let Jet Li showcase his fighting style. Because man, the fighting in this movie so good. Like, the choreography is something else. And even like the choreography he has with I know I'm jumping ahead a bit, but like when he fights the big dude in the ring, like even the choreography for that, he's fighting just some big dude. He's not fighting like another trained martial artist like some of the other fights we're gonna get in this. It's like he's fighting just a big dude, and that was good. So then we cut to the final fighter, who's this Japanese guy who we later see who's gonna fight in the final fight. That's the final round, and then they cut it to him being a kid. We see him wanting to train wushu, but his father is like kind of keeping him out of it. We see scenes where he sees his father train and stuff like that, and we see kind of how his father raises him. You know, he's kind of strict, but that's just how a lot of parents were. And keep in mind, this was feudal. I don't know if you call it feudal, but like ancient China. You know, this isn't modern times, so of course, a lot of times parents are going to be much more stricter back then. So, he wants to participate. Yeah, basically, his father wants, and apparently the real reason is because he has asthma. So they mentioned that early on. Then we see a scene where his father fights another kid's dad in this kind of duel where you basically got to knock your opponent out. It's like wrestling, not wrestling, but sumo wrestling. That's what I meant to say. Where you got to knock your opponent out of the thing, and his father loses a fight. But then there's a scene though where the fighter who beat his dad, I guess his son starts bullying him. We get a fight where who wants to do it, but who gets basically his ass whooped. And we see that his father's like kind of disappointed that he's taking the fighting. And secretly throughout the film, he's training wushu, which is pretty badass. And his brother, I think it's his brother, and yeah, so his childhood friend basically does like his work for him while he's training. Really good. It just then I think then we get another time jump after this, where now he's older. Um, he becomes a famous martial artist. We meet his family. We see him kind of become more and more famous with his martial arts, which those scenes are really good. Just the little scenes where he's training, he starts one by one, but he grows and grows more arrogant. He wants to teach his own school. And then a rival martial arts master, Kin Lee, shows up, and basically, we get a scene throughout the film. The slow tension rising between the two. I think then a scene happens where who beats up one of Kin's followers. Um, and then we get a really sad scene where um, who gets heated and then he basically tells his childhood friend, who's basically his brother for all intents and purposes, tells him to kind of like fuck off or done. It was sad, man. I gotta say, like, there's little things in this film I wasn't expecting. I wasn't expecting the love, especially what I'm gonna get to later. But because I was figuring, a lot of the martial arts stuff. I thought this was just gonna be like a straight up action movie with a lot more kung fu stuff in wushu. Sorry, to be exact. But like, no, man, there's a lot of drama. Like in that scene where he tells his brother, "You feel bad," and I actually thought it was well acted. Everyone did their jobs in this film, and then Kin confronts him later that night, and we get basically a dope fight between Kin and who, like, the fight goes everywhere. It has like not multiple locations, meaning like in the same building, but like they go different spots. They're smashing shit. They're using swords. You have a scene where who's using a sword and it fucking breaks and he still uses it. It's so good. It's like that's the thing alone. Just to watch all the fight scenes. You know, it's so good. And unfortunately, he almost does like I forgot. I don't know what the exact movie is called where he he does this certain punch that breaks Kin's rib or chest, or I think he did the heart punch or something like a variation of that, and that killed him in the end. It's sad because it's like crazy because yeah, you're the Grand Master now, and you're the chosen one of wushu in this town, but you got to kill your opponent doing it, and you got your into his anger, and then his brother, like his friend, kind of disowns him for a second, he informs who that you killed him, like Kin died. It was and whose reaction and Jet Li's performance in this too, like he starts puking. He's like almost like what the fuck have I done? Then throughout the film we see him, but Kin's godson kills because he wants vengeance because he's Kin's godson. So he kills um Who's mother and daughter. And when Who finds their body, I was not expecting this, or I didn't remember this happening, because I mainly remember obviously a lot more of like the martial arts and stuff from the film. I didn't remember this shit. So when this happened and he finds her body, dude, Jet Li's performance, man, I gotta clap for that shit. Like that was like the tears coming down his face. He got him covered in blood, man. And he was just holding his daughter. It's so fucking good. So then he tries to confront the godson, but then the godson admits to what he did and then slices his own throat. Wow, I didn't remember we were going this direction. But dude, it fits the story though. It's so tragic. It's such a tragedy, man, and it's so fucking good. Then because he becomes depressed because there's a scene when obviously after that happened, it is revealed that it was one of his followers who insulted Kin's mistress, which basically caused this whole thing to lead to where it happened. So Hugh leaves, he flees, and just wanders aimlessly. It's like those scenes, like he starts growing like a beard and stuff like that. He is eventually found by Granny's son and her blind granddaughter, they kind of make her like she's like the love interest kind of the movie. They don't go too into like I don't think there's a scene like they kiss or anything, but they clearly there's a connection there somehow. But man, this movie is so fucking good. Like that whole sequence. I'm just gonna go back to it really quick, where he finds his daughter, is so fucking good, and all this and in a way, it's because he got too confident. It's cool that he has good skills, but he got so confident, and then he started with a rival grandmaster that became this whole big thing. Now your wife's dead. It's so tragic, and then his brother kind of disowns him a little bit. But then now back to... So we kind of see him in their village for a bit and kind of growing and kind of getting... And apparently he stayed there for a few years. He starts realizing the value of compassion and mercy. And clearly he starts growing a connection with her. But then he eventually returns back to his old town in 1907. So that they do a really good job of capturing like the 1900s feel. Ronnie Yu this is such a trip because this is the same guy that did Bride of Chucky and Freddy vs. Jason, which I like both of those movies, but those are such different movies compared to this. Even the way it's shot, like it feels like ancient China, and I think they really did a good job of capturing that ancient China vibe. So he returns back to his old town, almost like to make things right. He makes peace and apologizes to Kin's family about what happened. and that scene was really good. Then we see him reconcile with his friend Jin's son, and basically gives him money to start a school. And then we get a scene where he takes on the big wrestler, like I mentioned a bit earlier. That whole sequence was great. Him trying to grab and get Jet Li every time, like him blocking it, or there are scenes he did get caught, but then dude, he just was schooling him, man. And then the wrestler thinks he has him down, climbs the ropes, tries to jump on him, and then fucking the way just Jet Li catches him, man, and just flips. It's so fucking good. So he eventually beats him, gets the respect of the wrestler, and basically eventually starts fighting more and more. And he even saves O'Brien from being impaled by some of the nails because the way he got kicked out of the ring, he was gonna fall over and basically hurt his neck. And I think they did a really good job of like showing that, and basically showing how much he has now as honor and mercy now. He's not just about I'm the best fighter. Honda gives him respect, does the bow and raises his hand. Now we're back in the competition. Um, and again, there's a scene where Who meets the Japanese champion, Tanaka, who we see later who he's about to fight. So now we're back at the competition. Him and Tanaka basically are gonna have the fight. This fight was fucking good. They fight um with weapons initially. Tanaka uses a sword, while Who uses a Sanijin. I'll just say he uses a staff, just to be, you know. Uses a staff. The back and forth. There's even a part where they get each other's weapons and they use it. So fucking good, man. That staff was fucking nifty though. That Who was using. It was so fucking good. And then the next round, um, and Who accidentally, before the next round starts, drinks poison tea, and initially is fine, gets into the fight, but then he starts having breathing problems and is like starting to cough up blood, but he still wants to continue. Um, that's crazy, man. I didn't even. That's the other thing. I didn't remember that aspect of it either. I didn't remember he died in the end like that. So he still wishes to fight, even with all that shit happening. Him getting poisoned. He got some good shots, and even he didn't go out like no bitch, man. It was so fucking good. And he even does the same technique that killed Kin, but he actually holds back, and then he finally, seemingly close to succumbing to his poisoning, and Tanaka's about to be named the winner, and Tanaka says, "No, I'm not going out like that." Picks him up and says he's the winner, and the crowd starts chanting his name. That was so fucking good, man. And Tanaka eventually dies. Not Tanaka. Who eventually succumbs to his poisoning. And then we see his epilogue where he sees his spirit practicing wushu while he sees Yusi, who the girl from earlier. So yeah, this is a nice little epilogue. Him doing wushu, and then he sees the girl. Basically, seemingly that's his true connection, and then the film ends. This film is so fucking good, man. Like so many turns rewatching this. Like the scene where he finds his kid is, oh my god, it's so sad. And then just all around, there's moments where it's sad, but then there's moments, obviously, the badass fucking wushu and the fucking fighting. It's just yeah, it's so fucking good. But then, the ending is so good on all sides, and I think everybody did a great performance. Tanaka, because he was even saying, dude, he even asked him to stand down, because I think he even knew there's something up with him. And he's like, dude, stand down, because I'm not going to. And fucking Who was just fucking ready. He's like, bring it. Because if I'm gonna die swinging base. He didn't say that, but that's basically what happened, and it's such a all around good ending, sad ending, but good ending at the same time. All around awesome film. I definitely recommend it. Yeah, you don't. I get it. Some people don't like reading subtitles, and most of the time I don't either. But this film is just so good. You'll get drawn in just with the wushu and the martial arts. That's all you really need. You don't. You can ignore the subtitle part of it, and you don't even really notice it after a while. You're just watching this good story, and everyone's just movements and their performances where they're not even talking. So you can just get into those parts of the film. So definitely, I recommend this. This one's a good one. This is a fucking great film. So, but other than that, man, I fucking love it. Tomorrow, I'm gonna be doing my updated Halloween franchise ranking, including kills. So that should be fun. I might try to squeeze in another video if I can, where so I'm gonna do two more Halloween related ones where, like I said, the updated ranking. But I'm also gonna do um, the fucking ranking the Michaels. I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm either gonna rank the actors or I'm gonna rank the Michaels specifically. I might do both, but yeah. So, but other than that, guys, this film is fucking good, man. 10 out of 10 martial arts movie. I think personally, this might be my favorite Jet Li film. Like, for like fun wise, it might be the one, but this one just is so good. Like on that like deep level, man. So this and performance wise too, his performance in this is fucking badass. So all around love this film. But you know, as usual, fuck Warner Brothers, fuck Disney, fuck LaBitch James, fuck Joy Reid, fuck Kevin Smith, and fuck Joe Biden. I'll talk to y'all later or tomorrow. Peace.